one not defining which David Nichols. So it's going to be David Nichols, comma, wearing the red jumper, comma, is coming to the party. Yeah. So please remember that. And if you're unsure about what I mean here, please write it in the comments, in the Q&A, in the discussion. I'll try to help you, because it's quite important for punctuation, these participle rules. And a lot of the time when you see a comma in a novel, it's for the participle. Lots and lots of times. It really is very, very common. Now, one more thing I'll mention about the gerund, and this is something which is disappearing from the language. A gerund really ought to have a possessive pronoun before it, because it's a noun, yeah? And so we ought to say you're, you're having left, or you're having said, or you're being searched, yeah? We should say, would you mind my smoking? Yeah, would you mind my smoking, and not would you mind me smoking? But we usually say, would you mind me smoking in the UK? So we usually use the me form, the object form of the pronoun, after mind and many other verbs, when technically, grammatically, you'd expect it to be the possessive pronoun, okay? So almost never in the UK do I hear a native say, I don't mind your smoking. That's not what I hear. I always hear, I don't mind you smoking. But I don't mind your smoking was originally the only correct form. Nowadays, I don't mind you smoking is considered 100% correct. And that's kind of grammatically weird. It's kind of illogical that we don't use the possessive form. We do use the possessive form when the gerund is subject. We say something like, your smoking is annoying everybody in the room. Yeah, and not you smoking is. Your smoking is annoying everybody in the room. We would use the possessive form, but when it's an object, yeah, I don't mind him smoking. We normally say him and not his smoking. So that's something to be aware of, that the possessive form before the gerund, when it's an object, is disappearing. And you normally hear, I don't mind them smoking, and I appreciate you coming here. It should be, I appreciate your coming here. And I think in America, they still try to keep this possessive form. I still hear it in quite a lot of American shows where they're saying it correctly and using this possessive form for any pronoun before a gerund. But I must admit, we don't in the UK, and I think possessive forms before gerunds have disappeared, more or less. It even sounds quite old-fashioned to me when I hear, I appreciate your coming. I think I appreciate you coming sounds more modern to my ears. But this is a British thing, because the Americans certainly are trying to keep this possessive gerund, this possessive form before the gerund. So I thought I would mention that as well. But as you can see, because there are fewer aspects, 2 for the gerund and only 3 for the participle, this is easier in terms of aspects. It is easier than the other topics that we have looked at so far. Okay, I hope that this has been very clear. I know that there are a lot of topics that I did today, such as dangling participles, possessive gerund. They're tricky, and so please ask questions if you want clarification. I will see you all in the next class.